Hey guys, hope everybody's having a fantastic evening, whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. I'm glad you're here. Our normal housekeeping, if you get the chance and you're so inclined, please hit that subscribe button down below and that bell notification icon. Bell notification icon will notify you when I release new content. It'll also let YouTube know you're not a bot, that you're an actual human who's subscribing, and it'll help the videos get seen from other people, alert you when I release new content, and when I go live. Win-win for everybody. So please, guys, if you get the chance, please hit that subscribe button. Today, I wanted to talk about the third TRM, Three Rivers Manufacturing knife in my collection. This is my favorite U.S. manufacturer. Not just because of the knives, and I think that they're awesome, but because they are wonderful people. Ooh, I just hit my finger with that. That sucked. Did you see that, guys? Live on TV. Anyway, so they're not only my favorite manufacturer because they make wonderful knives, but they do wonderful things for the community in their own neighborhood. They do wonderful things for people in our community. They've donated to so many causes, I can't even really put them all into words. But anyway, thank you, Mr. and Miss Halpern at Three Rivers Manufacturing. And this is the TRM Neutron. The TRM Neutron is the TRM Atom's little brother. So it's going to be smaller than the TRM Atom that I did a review on, I don't know, a couple months ago. But it's going to have the same shape. It's going to have the same blade profile. It's going to have the same thickness or thinness, however you want to look at that. Thumb stud deployment. I have upgraded this with titanium scales. It comes standard with either G10, Micarta. And what's great about TRMs is with the T6 bit, you can change this scales out just by removing the clip and this screw and then these two screws on this side. I've probably got 3 or 4 different sets of scales for each of my TRMs. And I change them quite often. When I got to titanium, I really didn't change them anymore because the titanium's kind of adds weight, adds girth, makes the knife just feel perfect to me. But to talk about the knife, this is a medium-sized knife, fits my hand perfectly. Has a very usable choil that allows you to choke up there to the front part of the scale and get a really good grip on that knife. But it is 20 CV, stone washed, super thin and slicey. TRMs are probably some of the sliciest knives in my collection, and that goes for really all of them. But the Atom and the Neutron are among the sliciest. Give me 1 second. Let me grab some paper. It's a little of our Pew Pew Digest. But the Atom's a laser beam. The Neutron is also a laser beam. The Neutron, again, is just a little bit smaller. We'll get some size comparisons in a second and some dimensions. But I can assure you it is a super slicey knife. It is thin, so the profile of the knife, whether you've got micarta scales, which would look like this. This is the Nerd, and I was going to show it by some size comparisons. But whether it's micarta scales, G10 scales, whatever scales you have on your Neutron, they're going to be contoured. You can get flat scaled, but most of them are contoured, and I would recommend the contoured. Again, fits your hand very well. The access to the lock bar is done fantastically well. This is a liner lock, so I can reach right in there, get access to that liner lock, disengage the blade. It locks up right around 50%, 40%, has great lockup. You can hear it lock up, and it's on washers. So that means that this knife, it does have great action, but it also means that it's going to stand up to harsher environments. It's going to be able to deal with dust a little better, deal with the elements a little better. Very easy to break down, take apart. You take off the scales, you remove the pivot, you've got a washer on each side, and then you take off the steel liners, and you've got your stop pin right there. You've got 3 little standoffs here, and you're good to go. And the great thing about TRM, besides being on top of the customer service game and being super generous, on their website they sell hardware kits for about $10 if you need screws. They sell clips. They sell these little rings if you want to soften up your thumb studs. They sell these little standoffs in case you lose them. And, they kind of jokingly on the website says, who doesn't lose hardware from time to time? We want to make sure it's easy for you to get it from the manufacturer. And I think that's great. Again, they make it really easy to maintain your knives. They sell a lot of strops. I don't own one, but they're allegedly really, really good. But this knife is ultra thin, very pocketable, in and out of the pocket with this titanium solid clip very easily. Just a fantastic knife. And just to give you an idea, next to the Atom that we reviewed a couple of weeks ago, that's the difference in size between the Atom and the Neutron. But when we get into our size comparisons, which we're about there, we will see how this knife sizes up. So firstly, and I apologize for Ashley over there scratching or chewing, there is the Cold Steel 4MAX, which is much bigger than the Neutron. And here is the Civivi Baby Banter, which is a little bit smaller than the Neutron. Next up is our Benchmade Bug Out, which is going to be just about 1/8 of an inch, and really close to the same size as the Neutron, which means there's no need to open our Spyderco Paramilitary 2 because it's going to be much bigger. But if it helps you guys get an idea of the handle or how it might feel, that's next to the Paramilitary 2. Now, what I wanted to do real quickly, let's measure it and get you guys full measurements. 7 inches overall with a 3-inch blade and a 4-inch handle. So pretty standard there. And I think if we look at the Atom next to it, we're going to have a 3.5-inch blade, I'm thinking. Three-and-a-half-inch blade, 4.5-inch for a 9-inch or an 8-inch knife. So that's the difference between the Neutron and the Atom when they're open, and gives you the dimensions of the Neutron. And here is the smaller brother in the collection. And I say in the collection, this uses the same removable scales as all of these do. Even though this blade looks a little different, it's the same very thin, slicey blade stock. Still a liner lock. I have not yet gotten the titanium scales for this, but this is something that I, when things work out and I happen to have an extra $200 laying around, I'll definitely grab some scales for this eventually. And then we have the TRM Shadow, which is kind of their flagship knife, which unfortunately you can't change the scales for. You have to get this in a titanium model if you want a titanium model. But it is really just about the same size. Well, nah. It's about a 1/2 inch bigger than the Neutron. So anyway, guys, that is the TRM Neutron. Let's get a couple of real quick measurements on the blade thickness. Then we'll get a weight. Then we'll get out of here, because it is very thin behind the edge. So the blade stock is 0.090. Down here behind the edge, but above the bevel, .030. That's above the bevel again. That's about right here. And then our handle width, this is going to be a thinner knife. It's going to come in at .39. That's at its widest point. And guys, it does really feel good in the hand. Of all of the TRMs, in terms of carrying, a daily carry, an office carry, a gentleman's primary carry, I think the TRM Neutron really fits the bill. So let's get a quick measure weight on it. With the titanium scales, it's going to be heavier, 3.35 ounces. So if we were looking at that with Micarta scales, I'm thinking it's probably going to be under 3 ounces. That's my guess. But anyways, guys, that is the TRM Neutron, or as I like to refer to it as, the Atom's little brother. I appreciate you guys coming by the channel. I appreciate any time you watch one of my videos. I do ask that you please subscribe and hit the bell notification icon if you haven't already. Please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for one another. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose debate over hate. I love you all. Peace.